My name is A.Strongheart. Thanks for coming back to my channel. Builder of the spirit, builder of the soul. And when we build those internal structures inside of us, they emanate from us in how we carry ourselves in the world. And they have ramifications for how the world reacts with us. And the opposite is true too. If we don't build those structures inside, then we also see the ramifications of that. It's so interesting, man. I was listening to some stuff politically. The honor and integrity that we have as a culture, as a society, it's so lacking. People will just turn on a dime with everything that they stood for. They stood for something healthy and holy and sacred and special, and they'll turn on a dime to save their ego, to save face. They'll turn on a dime. It's good to be able to turn quickly. It's good to be athletic for survivability, you know. But to turn on yourself, to turn on your own honor, on your own integrity, on your own responsibility. There is a right thing and there is a wrong thing. And we know what that is, despite how we protest that maybe we don't, or there's a million different answers. There's not really a million different answers. There is an answer. There is an answer. And lots of times, politicians specifically will turn away from that answer because I guess that's really what it is. The cost of facing the answer, the cost of having the courage to solve the situation is to face some of the darker sides of life, the darker sides of ourselves, and the truth of reality. And that, facing that, truly facing that, will cause you to critique yourself and to have to do the actual work of changing and building areas of yourself that you have neglected or abandoned. And with that comes the stark reality of maybe how underdeveloped those aspects of you are, and also why those aspects are underdeveloped. Maybe there was a traumatic experience or pressure from the outside that pushed you in this direction, and so you've had to develop other areas even though you would have maybe liked to develop these areas in yourself. And so you're not as developed as you would like to be when it comes to honor or courage or integrity or faith or love. You like to believe that maybe you're good at those things, but then when it comes down to it, maybe you're not as good as you thought you were at those things. And the reason that you're not as good is because you turned away from it at some point. And you turned away from it because there was pressure from the outside world. Maybe some traumatic things happened, or maybe it was just an element of survival. You weren't gonna survive in the family that you were in if you followed the truth, if you followed honor and integrity and courage. And so you turned away from it to survive. And that's sad and disheartening, but there can be so much strength and power and love that is gained from facing it, from doing the challenging work of facing it. And, you know, we turn away from those challenges. And when we turn away from those challenges, we become underdeveloped in those areas. And when we're underdeveloped in those areas, the world reflects that to us. We must learn to start as a culture, as a society, as a spiritual people of the earth, to remember to build our internal, emotional, intellectual, spiritual, intuitive souls, to put in the work, to build our souls, to become the leaders that we're meant to be. You know, there's so many things that are talked about as far as leaders, yet we see our leaders lie to our faces blatantly with no remorse. It's sad. That's sad that you can be so powerful. Imagine if I was to give you millions of dollars total power and control over great armies, great institutions of knowledge and power and money. And then amidst all of that abundance in your life, you can't even have the honor and integrity to not lie to the people that are following you. That's sad. That's so sad. Now imagine I take all that away from you and now try to have some honor and integrity. Oh man, that's hard to have honor and integrity and courage and faith in this life. But the people that have so much and then they can't have that, they're poor on the inside. You know, it is what it is, but we as a society need to learn to remember to develop our internal being. There's an internal structure inside of us. Our soul and our body are a precious vessel. You know, it's so funny to me. There are people who take care of their car or their house better than they take care of their body. Wow. There are people who take care of other people's lives better than they take care of their own lives. And that's really, it's ignoring the hard work. Because there's a lot of trauma and a lot of wounding there is really what it comes down to. There's a lot of, and it's perpetrated by our own families. Our own families, our own religions, our own cultures, our own spiritual faiths, our own priests, our own shamans, our own fathers, our own mothers, our own sisters, and our own brothers, our own children, perpetrating misleading information on us so they can have the upper hand and feel that they're in control. Instead of guiding us and leading us to what actually makes a healthy, strong, wholesome human being, powerful, connected, and aligned human being. And all our institutions got manipulated to corrupt the teaching of that human being to be better. All our institutions, from the great, large manifest like religions, universities, governments, they swindle us. They tell us half-truths and false truths so they can sell more products, so they can dupe us to being under their control. But also the lesser institutions of just how we run families in the first place, how we think about families, how we think about marriage and relationships and raising of children is really all about manipulating them so that we can stay in power, instead of developing human beings in a sacred and wholesome way, in a way that's fit to deal with the world. We have to learn to remember that again. We have to remember to hold human beings sacred. Again, like I said in my other videos, to hold them sacred again. To build them up, to build each other up, to build this world up, to build our vessel up, to build our soul up, so that we can be proud of who we've become. Not just trying to tear down our neighbor so we can feel better about our mistakes. And that's what the whole world is right now. I want to tear everybody down so I can feel better about my mistakes. But the most powerful cultures we've ever encountered are the ones that build stable, strong, sturdy human beings. Sturdy souls, ready for the whirlwind, ready for the journey of life. And we have to become focused on that again. But we lost a lot of that because the undermining of that is how we conquer people. That's how you conquer a people. Get them to stop building strong ones. Get them to stop building wise ones. Get them to stop building intellectual ones. Get them to stop building emotionally in tune ones. Yeah. In control of their own emotions and their own thoughts. Anyways, thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Anthony Strongheart.